And that was the beginning of then their next 9-month journey where they looked at the marketplace, tried to figure out what they needed as a company. And then eventually mabl was one of the solutions, not the only solution that they actually looked at and evaluated. And then it became a customer in December. So in December. So they're going to take us through that journey today. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Dhara and to Dmytro. So thank you all very much.
Is the audio okay? All right.
Oh, 2 clicks and you're there. There we go.
Okay. So thank you for having us here. We are going to talk about how did we modernize our test engineering, especially with mabl. But before we do that, let's do some introductions. So my name is Dhara Patel, and I'm SVP of Engineering at Kinesso. At Kinesso, I lead several different engineering groups, including like product engineering teams for activation and core business pillars, as well as few cross-functional teams like AI, data science, platform, and test engineering. And a little bit about outside of Kinesso, I enjoy working with early-stage startups and founders to help them with their tech strategy, and which should include test strategy as well, but also enjoy mentoring engineering leaders and guiding them. With me, I have Dima, who is my colleague at Kinesso.
Yeah, hi everyone. Dmytro Savchenko, work with Kinesso with Dhara. I'm leading activation optimization pillar at Kinesso, which is the part of our Interact product that we'll be talking later. And I'm a podcast host doing the Thoughtful Edge podcast, talking about business and tech. And I'm advising businesses on the tech and strategy alignment as well. And yeah, happy to be here and talk our story.
Great. So yeah, before we deep dive into a lot of different topics, let me do a quick walkthrough of agenda. So we will start with Kinesso and Interact, because I'm sure many of you guys here want to know, or probably don't know, what is Kinesso, what do we do, and why modernization of like our test engineering is important with respect to Interact. Then we will also talk about all of our QA challenges, our QA landscape, and then we will go into like why basically we embarked on our QA transformation journey, and in order to drive the change for Interact. Then, as Dan mentioned, we did do a thorough evaluation with a lot of different test automation platforms, and mabl was one of that. So we will talk about that, and then beyond December, when we selected mabl, what actions we took, what was the early feedback from our pilot teams, and then we will close the session with what's next for us beyond this point with mabl, and then what are some of the key learnings along this journey. So yeah, let's start with Kinesso and Interact.
Yeah, thank you, Dhara. So what is Kinesso? Kinesso, we are part of IPG. IPG is a big company in the marketing space. We're in the top 4 doing the marketing services in US and across the globe as well. We have like huge presence. We are covering like 70 plus markets, like have a representation of every continent. We are 6,000 employees across the globe as well. And working in different industries, retail, finance, healthcare, entertainment, you name it, like probably we are covering everything. And we are focusing on marketing data, optimization of the marketing data and analysis, and helping marketers to be more efficient in their roles, and helping them to drive more growth and results for their clients.
Yeah. Okay, so then what do we do? So Interact is basically our core platform. And what Interact does is it is an end-to-end marketing platform, because it does unify all the workflows across the entire marketing lifecycle. And we'll talk about marketing lifecycle in a bit, but just to introduce Interact, like when you log in into this platform, there are these 3 main spaces, which is mind, make, and manage. And then each of this space has a few different consoles underneath it. The important thing is like each of this console actually represents an important stage in a marketing life cycle. And then also on the right side, what you see is that each of this console has this different steps or modules within that. And each of this module is literally like it's an application. So if you think about Interact, is that it's a big ecosystem of lot of these different applications working under the hood of this one platform. And we just talked about marketing lifecycle, right? So basically, so think about like in the mind space, there is a brand console and audience console. So like brand console is all about helping generating insights for our brands. Similarly, audience console is about creating audiences, analyzing your audiences, because that's the very first step when you want to target certain ads. You need to have a high value audiences. The make space is about like design console is all about media planning, budget allocation. Same thing is like managing investments. Creatives is another important aspect of marketing, because every brand has their own creatives like logos or their branded contents. So managing all of that in this platform. And then lastly, managed space is about campaigns, which is the heart of marketing life cycle, right? That you have to set up the campaign, execute it, as well as report on the performance of your campaigns, optimize outcomes, things like that. So yeah, that's Interact. One other important aspect about Interact is that because we are in advertising and marketing, it is a lot of data that we have to deal with. Each of our application has very data intensive workloads, as well as like there is a lot of data we collect. We run a lot of ML on it. So this is just one example of like budget allocation application within Design Console, where just gives you an idea of how data intensive and how data ML everything is being used. But then what about AI, right? That's why we all are here. So there are two ways we use AI. One is that a lot of our products have actually now started building AI-driven features. So for example, creating a branded contents, right? So you just describe what you need, and then it gives you your basically your PR material, or create variations of your logo. So a lot of that is powered by AI now. But the latest and the greatest addition to our Interact is our AI console, which is a console of its own. It allows you, it has two major functionalities. One is that it actually started with the chatbot, where you can just interact with it, ask questions. This is different from ChatGPT because we do train this LLM also with a lot of our own products, as well as our use cases and our data, as we sit on a lot of data. So that's our chat. And then the other thing also we introduce is building agents. So a lot of our users are heavily using AI console today. Yeah, so that's Interact. Hopefully that gives some idea about like why Interact and what it does. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic, which is our QA challenges.
Yeah, so there are a lot. Like, as you can imagine, like we have this platform, we have this huge platform, and like there are a lot of people that are using that, mostly internally, but can you imagine like a corporation of 50K people, and like each of them having their own use case, having their like own needs, and we're striving to cover all of them. And we are global. Like the first of our challenges is that we are working in like different time zones, like covering Europe, Asia, South India, like Australia, Malaysia, South America, like Europe, Germany, UK, both coast of US, the middle of US as well. So we need to like align between all of those teams, getting some multicultural challenges as well. Some people are better doing some kind of work. Some people are more focusing on communication. Some other people are focusing more on details. Some other on technology. And like there is a lot of misalignment comes from that. Just different cultures, different countries, and different attitude to like probably the same work into the same points and items. Definitely we have some workflow inefficiencies where like processes different parts of organizations and different development teams might be approaching the same problem like the same different ways. So some people might engage with some teams might engage with some tools, some other teams might prefer other tools as well, and it really comes to a problem when we need to gather some aligned metrics across the whole organization, because everyone is following kind of different approach and becoming a challenge. And again, diverse environment, QA tech stack is different, lack of test of automation, and manual testing reliance. So those are the problems that we are dealing with, and still trying to find a proper way of solving and bringing us to a better position in terms of quality of our software. Because again, like as I mentioned, we have like around 30 products on the platform, and some products may be ahead of others in terms of like test coverage and in terms of QA processes they have inside of the team. Yeah, and like those are the questions that we are looking the answers for.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, so one aspect is clearly, with so many challenges that we have to address those limitations to move forward. But also, I think most importantly, we also have to align to our Interact's success. So Interact is a platform that is rolled out globally in more than 70 plus markets. So that is a big ecosystem, lot of fast, rapid growth. So how do we act? I mean, if we want to keep up with the demands of business, we have to align to we have to align our test strategies and our test engineering to basically meet that demand. And as we thought about that, there are two main pillars that we thought about, which is not just only important for Interact, but it's also important as we think about our QA transformation journey. And it's agility and innovation. And agility because we want to get out into the market as fast as possible. We want to constantly build new features. So we have to also basically align to have faster release cycles. So agility is clearly a very important aspect in Interact success. Similarly, innovation. We already have been using a lot of data and ML, but now in the era of AI, everybody is talking about that. So it's not just your products, it's everything that you do needs to have innovation as a key pillar to think about. So let me talk a little bit more about each of this. So the first one is agility, right? So the question is, how can QA help in agility? And especially in an environment where we are coming from, where we are globally very diverse. We have not so much of a standardization across lot of teams, tech stacks. So I think the one important aspect is to have an early QA involvement, and which is shift left, which is a very well-known concept. Everybody is using this, but again, it comes with also a mindset change. So rolling out this change and having catch the defects as early as possible so that we can move faster. The second thing is automation first. I mean, believe it or not, right, we still rely on manual testing. I mean, I cannot believe it myself, but it is there. It's just like we have over 40 teams, and there are certain teams who are still, like Dima talked about multicultural challenges, right? There are still teams who has some manual testing. So one of the things is like just adopt the mindset of automation first, then continuous testing and improvement. I think we all know about this. You have to have testing integrated in your CI/CD pipelines, establish the constant feedback loop. The sooner we get the feedback, the better we can improve and move fast. Then risk-based testing. So this one is an important one for us because as we saw about Interact, right, that there are lots of features, lots of applications. We cannot meet everything. So how do we prioritize? So this is an important aspect for QA, that in order to move fast, we need to get better at focusing on the high-risk areas and focus on what matters. So that's one thing. And then ultimately, like having all of these things or modernize it to have faster, shorter, more frequent releases. Yeah. So then what about innovation? So for innovation, the important thing is rapid experimentation, right? So as we rolled out Interact, we are building new features, but also like we have to support, not from a development standpoint. I mean, like, I lead an engineering team, so all devs have to do rapid prototyping, and hence also like testing needs to be hand in hand. You developers cannot just build new ideas and not test it. So that's an important aspect. I think emerging tech, we talked about AI, ML. One important thing about emerging tech is, so there is one thing about testing the AI-powered features in products and AI-powered solutions. But there is also another thing about using AI in software testing. So we have to do both. As we are thinking about this transformation, it's not just about testing those features, but it's also about like start adopting AI in not just software testing, but entire development life cycle. Safe failure is very critical for us because we are an enterprise software and we are an enterprise company. We work with a lot of big brands, and for us, like pitching and having demo environments is very critical. So our ability to quickly spin up environments, spin down environments, and having isolation of environments with testing is very important. So which also is part of innovation. And then data-driven insights, the more we get better at reporting on our testing and how we are doing, the better decisions we can make. And then lastly, I want to talk about collaboration, because I think this was also referred, or basically, yeah, it came up in one of the earlier discussions where, so collaboration is not just important for innovation, but also for agility. So QA, so we have a large QA organization in our company, and they cannot operate in isolation. They need to have close collaboration with product, DevOps, as well as our dev teams. And also, like, it's important to align all of these functions towards the same business objectives. All right, can I go to the next one? Okay. Okay, so yeah, I think with those two pillars in mind, let's talk about how did we go about evaluating our
Yeah.
solutions. Yeah, should I go to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it works. So first of all, we have a separate QA vertical, like in our engineering organization, where a lot of smart people are working and figuring out the best ways to approach QA practices, to introduce processes, and so on and so forth. And this team, like, there was a task force created to just evaluate the solutions out there in the market. And they were tasked to look around and see what's is out there that can help us with our challenges that we named just before. And we asked them to find some tool that will allow us to drive agility, to enable faster releases and respond quickly to market needs, help our business move more quickly in responding to market changes as well. Ensure reliability, making sure that our software is high quality. We're not getting complaints from the users, because like quality of software is leading to customer satisfaction, and customer satisfaction is driving further adoption as well. And the tool that will empower teams will allow the teams to move more quicker, enjoy their work, and maybe even enable developers, maybe even product people or designers to participate in this quality assessment work. And so everyone can contribute, and that will also allow us to move faster. And in the AI era, we didn't want to stand aside of those like crushing innovations and the space that AI is moving now throughout the market. So we wanted some new and modern tool to be added in our tool set, like that will allow us to move faster and cover all the challenges that we had.
So our task force team was very dedicated, and they come up with the whole framework of analyzing the tools and of analyzing different aspects, and just to ensure that we'll be selecting the best out of the best. So we identified several tools on the market, and then they came up with a list of different attributes they would be looking at, and they would be rating each application based on. So industry presence, community support, a lot of different vendor support and onboarding and maintenance, test cases. You see, there are a lot of different aspects and different viewpoints that we were analyzing each tool, and that just the amount of work that went into exploring and creating this framework was also kind of huge. But we wanted to have a best result, and that's why we decided to go that deep. So we are looking at automation scripts that will allow us low code, no code automation, adaptive element locators, self-healing features, visual testing, data-driven API testing, ML testing, all of that functionality to be. We wanted all the integrations to be there as well, like Jira, Jenkins, Zephyr, Cypress, GitHub, and we wanted to ensure that maintenance is maintenance burden would be also reduced by engaging with this new tool. So each of these point was evaluated for each of the tool that we selected, and which allowed us to came to some conclusion, and the conclusion was that we want to go with mabl.
Yeah. And when our team was evaluating against all of these different criteria, we were actually assigning the score, and clearly mabl had the highest score. But yeah, it was a thorough exercise for us to. We actually evaluated 5 different vendors. I'm not going to name them, but basically, yeah, it was a thorough exercise, I would say. Cool. Okay, so all right, so at this point, we have evaluated everything, we have selected mabl, we made our decision that we are going to roll out mabl. So let's talk about how did we start. So for us, as I mentioned, right, so we have over 40 engineering teams. We have to start small somewhere and then think about scaling it big. So what I want to talk a little bit about, like how did we select our pilot program? So there were few things in our mind that, or few criteria in our mind that we wanted to keep in mind when we select the teams. So we went ahead with selecting 4 teams. One criteria was that we wanted to have a global representation, because we did talk about that we are a global company and we have a lot of different challenges around that. So as you can see here, that each of the team is actually in a different part of the globe, and they are not in the same globe. But anyway, so I think basically, yeah, so we wanted to have global representation. The second thing is we also wanted to select teams who are working on different parts of Interact, so that they have basically so that they have a different setup, a little bit different tech stack that they are working with. So here also, like, we selected 2 teams from activation, and also like build campaigns is a very critical part of Interact. So they were selected to participate. And then on the other hand, the data management console, which is a completely at the end of the spectrum of the marketing life cycle, where it's more and also more data intensive. And then AI has to be there. So, and then the one other criteria was also that we wanted to generally select the teams who are in a different stage of their test automation journey. So for example, like, so AI console team has literally, like, even though it's an AI console, it's a 0 automation, because it's a brand new team. They had no QA in that team, and they were heavily relying on ad hoc testing and manual testing. And so it was a great candidate to have. How do you start from scratch with mabl? On the other hand, like some of the other teams, like data management console, has the highest automation, but still but still we wanted to have them participate to cross compare and see that if you already, I think somebody asked that question in the morning, that how do you take the teams who already have automation and then onboard them on mabl? So it was a good test case for us. And then the verify campaign is an interesting one because they also are low on automation because they have a legacy infrastructure. They were struggling a lot with the stable test environments and generating the mock data, and a lot of challenges was because of the infrastructure. Yeah, so this is all the planning that we did on our end, but can we just do it without mabl support? I would say absolutely not. We definitely needed their support, and they have been and this statement of like a foundation for success is actually very true, because even when you have laid out a plan or you have an idea of what you want to do in the pilot program, but you still need all of these teams to get educated with what is mabl, how do you use it, and as you onboard, there are many challenges that you face. So a lot of these resources like mabl University, mabl Help, a lot of that has actually come very handy for us when we were running our pilot program. Also, like their support is amazing because oftentimes you can't find answers on like some things it's very specific to your particular challenge, then you need to reach out to someone. So they were highly available, very responsive, and I would say that we had a successful pilot program because of their willingness to be a partner and invest in our success. So definitely a big thank you to mabl to make this a success and a smooth pilot program for us.
Yeah, and their support team and the whole approach they were taking, and the responsiveness and willingness to be helpful every time and respond quickly to our requests. And it was one of our evaluation criteria in our selection framework. So they got the highest score there. So it was one of the reasons we decided to go in a pilot.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you want?
Several we already like getting feedback from the teams who are leveraging some of these capabilities, who are engaging with mabl, and who are doing their tests with them. And there are a few areas that the teams found specifically useful. AI-powered self-healing was the first point that people were mentioning, because like it's strictly connected with the test maintenance. So every time something changes or breaks, the teams need to spend time on fixing that in the source code of this particular test. And now like it's kind of is done in a semi-automatically way. Lower test flakiness, increased stability. Yeah, those are all the results that we're getting with this AI-powered self-healing feature. Gen AI sessions is also a big point for some of the teams. They were mentioning that we were able to improve testing of AI console, the one that Dhara was just mentioning, the project that didn't have any automation before, and smart validation without breaking on the text changes. So again, coming back to this maintenance area, where usually we would spend a lot of time just fixing everything and to align with whatever new changes that we were implemented and introduced. And Gen AI summaries, like test failure summary generated by AI, faster root cause analysis, efficient debugging. Let's say in the case where you see after the test run, you see multiple tests failed, but they were failed because for some particular reason. And with the Gen AI summary, like it's much more easily to identify that root cause of those like multiple failures. Yeah, and like some of the further feedback that we were getting, like some of the items that the teams were particularly excited about. Parallel test execution, like a lot of 50 tests in parallel, increasing the execution time, decreasing the execution time for the test suites. Since it's all running on the cloud, no need to manually adjust and care about how many instances are executing and how many resources are needed for that. As a consequence of that, faster feedback cycle, so we know when something is broke just between like in some reasoning amount of time. And we are accelerating releases by having this shorter feedback loop and understanding better what is going on the quality side. Obviously, faster test creation, able to quickly build working flows without deep technical setup. You just do the stuff, it records the session, and then here you go, you have a scenario. And I think with those capabilities that we introduced today, where you can just type this scenario, it will become even faster than we were doing before. Faster automation, increased test coverage, those are all advantages that we're already seeing. And low code interface, it is what was in the list of our goals, to have the tool that will allow everybody to participate, not only the dedicated QA people, but developers and product people and people with limited testing automation knowledge. Let's say some QA personnel that didn't have big QA automation exposure before, they can easily start working because the interface is pretty intuitive and like you can start building stuff almost right away. And the team is interested in participating because it's a new tool and it is AI, and everyone wants to learn AI. So this is a big plus as well. And some of the feedback that we're also getting that it is indeed doesn't require a lot of technical knowledge, and you just click through, you just work with the user interface, and it just doing a lot of stuff for you without you knowing what is indeed happening there. This is definitely a big plus for non-technical users.
Yeah. So what's next for us? So at this point, we feel pretty confident about using mabl and as our one of the main test automation platform. But then we have concluded our pilot program, and our next steps here is that at least for this year, what we want to do is we want to roll out mabl for rest of the 36 engineering teams. Irrespective of where they are in their automation journey, I think we are encouraging everyone to come and explore mabl and see what capabilities it has, and maybe your future automation will be much easier than where you are coming from. So that is going to be a big focus for us. Also, like overall, we want to drive, basically we want to elevate our test engineering. And that's where we will look into all of the areas of improving our test coverage, execution, maintenance, and whatnot. So that's going to be an ongoing journey for us. Similarly, we are going to continue our transformation journey and transition away from manual testing as much as possible. One of the things that I am personally most excited about is empowering everyone to use mabl. There hasn't been any tool so far where product owners or engineering leads are willing to participate in test automation. So this is our chance, or this is their chance to actually contribute into software quality and be part of the team. And if they still cannot get on this with mabl, then I don't know what else can get them on this journey. But I really hope that so our next big step is also to onboard product owners and engineering leads. And then I think innovation, which is I would say that driving innovation not only in software testing, but we are also aggressively working in engineering to basically leverage AI capabilities in entire SDLC. And a lot of the leaders like Dima, Sam is here, all of these guys are driving those efforts to leverage AI, adopt in every stage of your software development. Yeah, so let's talk about key learnings.
So yeah, Key learnings for sure. Embrace cultural change. QA transformation definitely requires a cultural shift. Like as some of the speakers were mentioning before, doing something with AI is sometimes completely different from what we were doing while writing those test automation scripts. Because while writing the test automation scripts, you need this deep dive, you need to understand precisely which components are involved, like how to better program it, how to better come up with maybe some algorithms and so on and so forth. But with the AI stepping in, you don't need to hold all those details in your head anymore, so which allows you to move faster. And allows this shifting left paradigm also kind of be explored more widely as more people could use the tool and could contribute to the automation test suite. We're also learning that this transformation is a long journey. Like it's not about like turning on the switch and saying everyone to start using AI or start using mabl in this case, but it's more like a long-term journey where team will start adopting it from team to team, and one team could be used as a case which can educate other teams and can empower and engage other people as well and show them how successful they are. So this is the journey we are still like on, and I think we'll be continue expanding that and giving which is more importantly giving time for the teams to adapt and to like make this shift in their minds as well. Leverage AI, like I think it's inevitable that as the majority of people is now using AI for coding or like for everyday life. Like I use AI now mostly every day, and I have subscriptions to several of them, and like it's just amazing what it could do. And like don't using AI is now probably is putting you behind everybody else. Is there anyone who doesn't use it? Is there anyone who doesn't use LLM, ChatGPT? No one.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what we are seeing as well. And champion shared ownership. Like we want again empower all team members to participate, not only QA, be bothered with these QA processes and automation and metrics that we want to achieve, some coverage limits and so on and so forth. Yeah, this is definitely what will help us to like engage more team members to contribute, like product owners, designers, and everybody else who care for the product, even maybe some business stakeholders who doesn't know how the tech work, but they know how AI work and how they can operate the mabl tool, which is like pretty easy.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I would definitely say that the cultural change is a big one, because even in the pilot teams, there are QA themselves, who are the actual testers. We had like some of them had this reaction like, I'm already good at Cypress, I'm already good at coding, why do I need to use something low code? So you will face things like that, right? Even when we go and talk to product owners, they are like, it is not my job. And our question is, why not? Like, don't you own the product along with engineering? So you will have to navigate a lot of those things. And also, like, incremental progress is important, right? There will be times where you are like, this is just not going to work. You have to take one step at a time, have patience, and just work with the teams and get there. One additional thing that I would say is that one thing that also helped us, or it basically, or maybe like as an organization, is to align our transformation journey back to our business goal. So we are not doing this as, especially like this is important for executive buy-in, or we talked about funding and all of that, right? So especially this is important where it's not just an engineering initiative, or it's not just like, oh, we just want to get better, but why we want to do this. So aligning this back to our success of Interact, or basically having the key pillars of agility and innovation, which is important for Interact, align all those things also helps to drive better buy-in and to drive, I would say, create a better journey. If you are aligned to a business goal, then it doesn't become a journey alone of engineering or test engineering, but it's, yeah, it's aligned to overall company success. Yeah, that's everything that we had to share.